Brandy Buns Cookery School, and today I'm going to show you how to make a lovely Christmas cake. So this is a really classic Christmas cake, really rich in fruit. And first thing, I'm just going to show you the ingredients. So I have here butter. So key thing with the butter, really nice and soft. So I've just left it sitting out, and it's really lovely Northern Irish butter. 5 eggs at room temperature, free range or free range organic. And then these are ground almonds, so you can grind them or you can buy them ground. And obviously if you don't want nuts, just leave the nuts out. And then here I have the treacle, I have glace cherries, which I washed and dried and I've chopped those up. And then mixed peel, which I've chopped that really finely. And here the fruit itself, so you can see how much fruit is in this. So these are sultanas, raisins and currants, and I've already soaked these in some, you can use either brandy or lovely Irish whiskey. Then the sugar, soft brown sugar, I have dark here, but you could use light. Plain flour, and then I'm going to use the zest of some oranges and some lemon. You could either use 1 large or 2 small. This is mixed spice, which is really lovely on a Christmas cake, and that's just a combination of spices. And here I have some nutmeg, which I just grated that. And it's always nice with nutmeg to use the whole nutmeg and grate it yourself, and you get a much nicer flavour. And then some baking powder and a little pinch of salt. So that's all the ingredients. First thing to do, I'm using a machine. You could either do this by hand or you could do it with an electric whisk. You don't have to have the machine. So butter, straight in. So the first thing is always beat your butter and sugar together until it's really nice and light and fluffy. And this can take at least 5 minutes. You know, it kind of depends on the temperature, how soft your butter is. So just gotta add the sugar straight in. And when you use the machine, use this, which is called the paddle. And then I'll start on the lowest. And then when it comes together, then I'm going to turn this up and I'm going to let it whisk away until it's really nice and light and fluffy, and you'll be able to see when you look at it. So I'll turn it up now. Medium high, and just let it whisk away. So just to show you, it's just been whisking for a few minutes. So what you need to do is go in with your spatula, push it down, and then put it back on again. And we'll give it another few minutes. Okay, so this, just to show you, so it's really been whisking for quite a while now, and it's got really nice and light, and you can see the difference. You see? So it's ready for the eggs. Push it down again. And then what we want to do is add the eggs one at a time, and then beat each one in until it's fully combined. So I'll just start again. 1 egg straight in. Turn it on a bit. And get the second egg ready. So that one's fully incorporated now. If you want to have a look at that, I'll add the second egg. Get the third one ready. So you really have to let the mixture come back together before you add the next egg. So that's the third. So I'll just push the mix down again. So with each egg it starts to look, it can start to look a little bit curdled, but don't worry about it. If it does look very curdled, you can just add a spoonful of flour. I mean, at the minute, this is fine. So I'm going to add the 4th egg, and then get the 5th one ready. that now. Then it's ready for the fifth egg. See, and now it looks curdled, but it's okay. Now, if you want, just add a spoonful of flour, and that will bring it back. Try not to add too much flour, or you're going to make your cake tough. So, I would say that's it. And if you have a look at that, you can see it's a little, you can see it looks a little bit curdled, but it always looks like that. Don't worry about it. So now we're going to add the almonds. Let's take this off. And I'm going to add all of the fruit. So you can see it's so much fruit. And just make sure you get all of that, any little bit of whiskey or brandy in there. And that's the treacle's already in there. And then I'll do the zest. Oh, you can smell, it smells lovely. So try and use a really fine grater for zest, because you don't want the white pith, you just want the skin. This gives really lovely flavour. It's really worth adding the zest. Oh, and that smells lovely. Okay, and then the lemon. So I've already done one orange, just because they're quite small. Oh, and there's the sun. Okay, so that's about it. Just get all of that in there. So then I'm going to add the cherries and the mixed peel. And then the spices, so the mixed spice and the nutmeg. And a pinch of salt, always a good pinch of salt. It's not to make it salty, it's just going to make it taste better. So you can either put it back in the machine, but it's so full, I don't think I'm going to. So I'll just scrape this off. So you can see now, I'm just going to use the spoon and mix it together. In fact, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to transfer it to a different bowl so I have more space. I'm going to put it in this big bowl here, because it's very hard to work in that bowl now. You can see it looks a bit curdled there, but when you add the flour, it will come back together, so don't worry about it. So I'll give that a mix, and then all I have to do is sift in the flour and the baking powder. And I have the tin ready, I'll show you that. I mean, what you can do with this, it seems like it is quite a lot of work to do in one day, but if you had everything weighed out, and definitely soak your fruit the day before, have everything ready to go, including your tin, then on the day, it doesn't seem like such a big job. Okay, so it looks nice, and you can see it's nice and light, and it feels nice and light. I'm just going to sift in the flour with the baking powder. And then I just want to fold that in. So, and ideally use a nice big metal spoon for this. I'm not mixing it, you have to get the flour in there, but you don't want to be too rough with it. So I think that's it. Let's use the spatula. Make sure there's no flour at all that you can see, otherwise that will still be in it when you cook it. And the oven's on, so a low oven for this. So I'm going to start it at 160. That's on a conventional oven. and I don't use a fan for a Christmas cake. And then immediately I will turn it down to, well, you can either turn it down immediately or you can give it an hour and then turn it down to, you can turn it down to 140. This size takes about 4 hours. So just to show you, that's it, and just to show you the texture. So you know, it doesn't look curdled at all now, and it feels nice and light. It still has that soft dropping consistency. So then to put it in the tin, so for this I'm using a round tin, and this is a 9-inch tin, and I have lined the outside with just paper, and I've lined the inside with baking paper. So I did, just to show you, I cut a piece of paper and I've lined it. And I want to keep it really nice and neat and just a little bit higher than the tin. And then 2 layers, it's double thick, because this is going to be in the oven for a long time. You want to try and protect it. And you can see it's nice and neat, but you don't need to butter it. So that's it, just spoon it in. The paper will move about when you first put it in, so just be careful. Try and keep your paper flat. You push it out a bit first to the edges. That will hold it in place. So you can make this, it's nice to make it ahead, but if you don't get the chance, you could make this the week before. It'll still be absolutely delicious. You could even make it, 2 days before. The other thing you can do, this makes quite a large cake. You could definitely use some smaller tins. You could do 2 or 3 little tins, or 2 medium-sized tins. So I'll just use the spatula, get it all in there. And then, so I have here just some cold water. So I'm going to smooth it out. This makes such a lovely cake. Okay, so it's nice and smooth all around the edges, nice and flat. And what I'm actually going to do now, I'm going to dip my spoon in the water. I'm going to do a little dip in the middle, because you want it to have a nice flat top, and this helps that. And then the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to dip my hand in the water, and I'm going to just pat it out a bit. So don't ask me why, but this helps it to have a nice flat top. Sometimes it cracks, and if it cracks, don't worry, it'll still be delicious. But it definitely helps. Okay, so that's it. Lovely. Ready for the oven. So we just put it in. In the middle of the oven, in the middle shelf. So this is the one I made earlier. So this one I did in a square tin. So this is, I think it's 8 or 9 inch. The round one was 9 inch. So you can see I just lined it the same thing. So you can see it's come out. It's nice and flat. It's a lovely colour. If you want to test it, it feels firm. You can put a skewer in. It's definitely coming out clean. So then we'll just turn it out and have a look at it. So it looks lovely. And if I lift that up, you can see gorgeous. So then you can just, what I'll do now is, I'll just pour some whiskey or brandy over the top. You can put little holes with your skewer on this side or the other side, and then I'll just wrap it in paper, in greaseproof paper, wrap it really well, then I'll cover it in foil and I'll just set it aside, and that's it. So you can either have it just like this or you can ice it. So that's it. Thank you for watching.